Good evening, everybody. My name's Tom Stoukas, coming to you live from Sarnia, Ontario, on May 20th, 2025. So, first of all, yeah, May 20th, and the whole month of May has been crap. Like, it's been like 10 degrees, but like, it's chilly, a chilly 10, and it looks nice out. But you can't, you can't really sit outside. It's not like freezing, but you don't want to sit outside. It's not comfortable. And it's been like that the whole month. So it's really annoying. It's like the sun's been blotted out. It's weird. And just when you want, like, the patio to be open in your backyard, and you get one nice day and that's it. Anyway, I'm just complaining. That's Southwestern Ontario weather update. On political news, Mark Carney is back in Canada after meeting all his European buddies again for the second time since becoming Prime Minister. He was at the Pope's first Mass, and he's back, and he's doing a cabinet retreat, I think, in Meech Lake, of all places. And he's getting ready for the big Parliament opening. Maybe, I think he had some... he had some mixed signals with his cabinet. They were running their mouths off. And kind of causing little headaches for Mr. Carney. So maybe he's giving him the riot, like reading him the riot act and saying, don't mess up again. Like, I don't need the BS. I'm a central banker. I don't want to deal with this stuff. Yeah, so he's doing a cabinet retreat. And getting ready, and I saw something interesting. I don't know if it was from Politico or something. It's a cool sheet they have, like a kind of a what's going on that day. I'm gonna keep my eye checking it on it. But the MPs, the Liberal MPs, want to make it easier to provision to be able to eject the prime minister from power. So like vote him out, basically, like a mutiny, basically. And I thought the Canadian parties had this power, but apparently they don't. Because I know in the UK, they can mutiny easily on their prime minister. Like the Conservative Party, that's why they've had so many different prime ministers. It's because the MPs mutiny, which is kind of funny. It's kind of cool. Would have been nice to have here to get rid of Trudeau years before he screwed up Canada. So it'll be interesting to see if Carney will accept that kind of demand from the rank and file MPs. I don't think he would care. He's got enough money. He don't give a shit if they kick him out. But if he's determined to hold on to power, yeah, he wouldn't want something like that. So I was looking at this thing today, and this is the old. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. This is what I'm talking about. It's the poll. Canadians have more trust in Carney than they did in Trudeau, according to a poll. So when I say it's a bait and switch, it's because we put so much emphasis on Trudeau and projected so much onto Trudeau. Our anger or annoying, like he was annoying, so yeah, it was easy to project anger onto him. But people like that fuck Trudeau flags, all that, and it's fine to express your anger in that, but I think people, at the risk of doing that, they hide the bigger problem, which is it's like it's not just Trudeau that's the problem. It's like this whole globalist agenda ideology that kind of has infected Canada. So what we associated all Canada's problems with Trudeau and his face, and And now that he's gone, it's like a pressure cooker was building up with Trudeau. And now that he's gone, that kind of the pressure's been released, right? And that's where Mark Carney is right now. The pressure cooker, steam's all been released. So now we're going to just let the pressure build up again. And Carney's a kind of slow cooker, so he'll let that pressure build up a lot slower than Trudeau. Because Trudeau kind of like added fuel to the fire with every time he opened his mouth, and Carney's kind of like the opposite, like fuel. He don't add no fuel to fire. He's very boring. But even if you look at this picture here, the old bait and switch, like, so now, okay, my point is my point is now that Trudeau's gone, they were able to win the election. They were able to win the election and come up as a new party just because Trudeau's gone. So it was a perfect bait and switch. Pressure cooker has been relieved, and wait till it builds up again. So they know they have room to move now, because the boomers, they don't care. As long as Carney doesn't embarrass them in the international, which he hasn't. He gets along very well with the international leaders because he knows them all. As long as he doesn't embarrass them and act like a dummy like Trudeau, people let him do whatever he wants. And that's the more dangerous almost. Because conservatives are like MIA, like literally MIA. Maybe they're saving their powder for the parliament, I guess. So parliament next week, we'll see how fired up they are. But if you look at this picture here, what struck me is it's Carney there, standing in Parliament. No people throwing stuff at him. No police or barricades, whatever. It's totally polar opposite of the Justin Trudeau environment not too long ago in this very block. So what they've done is they've managed to give us this new image of this nightmare of Canada is over now that Trudeau's gone, which is like horribly complacent. We're screwed if that's because like nothing really's changed. All they've done is got rid of Trudeau. That's it. So we've projected everything onto him. And really, Trudeau was just the guy speaking the lines when you think about it. So they really bait and switched everybody. So yeah. Now we just wait for the pressure to build again. But yeah, they did it. But look at him there. So people, all they want to see is him be able to walk around in Canada without getting rocks thrown at him. And that's what they're getting. That's all they care about. That's all the boomers care about. And the immigrants, they love that shit. And then on the other fronts, Joe Biden, I guess, is all fucked up. Poor guy. Not poor guy, but I have a policy of even people I don't like if they're dying or dead, I don't say nothing because I have bad, what's the word? I feel like it's bringing bad luck on you by cursing the dead or the dying. I just let them die, I guess, in peace. But I guess he's got this really bad stage metastasized cancer, prostate cancer. And he's screwed because he's old and it's not looking good for him. But now there's all like this, like, how long has this been going on and how the hell does this guy be president? How the hell was he president? I really don't know. Who the hell was president? Like, it's crazy. Like, he's got, and you could tell, like, into his first term, he couldn't even walk. So it's a lot of questions need to be answered about that, like this in the States. A lot of people's credibility, because people knew the CNN and all that. I know how the reporters are. they see what goes on behind the camera or behind the scenes. So yeah, but the interesting thing is Scott Adams, who's the guy who does Dilbert, and he does his own podcast, and he got kind of semi canceled, but didn't get canceled because of his comments on black people. So anyway, I guess he's all got the same thing as Biden, prostate cancer, aggressive, and he's not expecting to live. He says he's going to be done by the summer, and he seems to be. I don't know if he's blaming it on the vaccine, but he did a segment with the vaccine about the vaccine, saying how the anti-vaxxers were right and he was wrong. And I was like, that's kind of a weird thing to say. And I was like, maybe it's just on his mind, but maybe he got sick, or he knew he was sick from it and he knew it. I don't know. I feel bad for him. He's pretty. I like his books and all that. So, but anyway, it kind of put some more posts on the vax, and then I guess Trump's starting to. They said like they don't recommend it for people who are under a certain age and don't need it and whatever. And like, yeah, duh, that's what they should. But in all fairness to Trump, he wasn't in office when they did all that crazy stuff. Like, it was Biden who put all the mandates in that. And I think Trump would have been happy if the vaccine was optional for old people and that's it, left it at that. I think that's what I was thinking. But I didn't get vaccinated, and I'm apparently only like 10% of the population in Canada is not vaccinated. So I'm like 10% of the population. And I'm very happy I didn't get vaxxed, because who knows, like maybe the ones that aren't dying, I know a few people that have died young, and maybe they were going to die anyway. I don't know. But just to have it on your mind, and I've heard people who aren't dead but have said, "Oh, I feel like shit from the vax," and I'm like, "Oh yeah." Like I've heard a lot of people saying, I don't know if it's just in their head or if it's actually. I think it's true. I don't think it's in their head. But I feel lucky I didn't do it, and I'm not that like strong guy, brave guy. I just worked out for me. Like I was thinking about this, and I don't like to be like rub it in your face. Oh, I didn't get vaxxed. But I was self-employed at the time. I didn't have $200,000 nice cushy job with benefits to support a nice family to worry about giving up for a vaccine shot. So I never had that choice to make. And I didn't have to travel anywhere. Like, let's say my mom was in somewhere far. She's not alive now, but let's say I had to see her before she died, and I had to get on a plane. I would have to figure out how to do it without getting vaxxed or get vaxxed. So I never had that issue. So for me, it was a lot easier to stay unvaxxed. So I'm not gloating. I'm not like super guy. Didn't get stood up to the man. I just stood up a little bit. You know, if I had more to lose, maybe I would have folded a little more, or like took it. But it makes me sad that while I'm happy that I didn't get it, it makes me sad that people were forced to get it. It pisses me off. And what else? So basically, for Canada, we'll see what this throne speech next week says. I'm sure we'll start getting leaks and previews from what's going to be in it. He's already said what's going to be in it, like the talking points, but sometimes they get a little more specific. I saw Donald Trump today. He was doing an announcement with the defense secretary about this golden dome to protect the U.S. from aerial attack. And like Canada maybe be part of it, so it's all good for Canada to cooperate. A good opportunity for Canada to cooperate with them. But I was just like, the hell? Like a Golden Dome, I get it, but who the hell is going to be firing rockets at the U.S.? I'm confused. Like, you're going to spend $500 billion. Obviously, it's got to be for the Russians. Like, that's the only one who has, or the Chinese, probably the Chinese, or the Koreans, whatever. $500 billion, oh man. What will Canada pay? 10 billion, maybe. That's it. We'll probably have to give up a base in the Arctic, at the very least. And another thing I notice is the Israel thing is getting a little more. People are like, I've been critical of Israel since the 90s. Like, I've been following this thing since I was a kid. So I'm not one of those Johnny come lately, jump on the latest trend NPC program. But I noticed it's been like, sometimes I wonder if I'm being too hard on Israel, because I'm always negative about them. But then I get reinforced when I see the news. I shouldn't laugh, but when I see the news literally every day. Well, 60 people blown to bits, or 130 people blown to bits. And it's like, any other country that was doing that with U.S. weapons would be being called to the carpet. I know it happens somewhere else. People get murdered, but they're not getting murdered with U.S. weapons. Or U.S. money, or political cover from Western countries. They're not. So, but yeah, I guess like Canada, UK, and France are really giving, and I've been following this for a long time. So they're giving a lot of more harsh language towards Israel. So it's for votes too, like a lot of the anti-Israel vote, I guess. But in my following, the decades I've been following, this is the strongest I've heard like the sentiment, like even like what's a good, Theo Vaughn did a video, he's calling it genocide. And he's got a big following along the young people. Obviously the Kanye song doesn't help the Jewish cause to like control the narrative. But that's interesting how that's all playing out, like bombing civilians. I know you don't like the Palestinians, but you can't bomb them. I don't know what you're going to do. It's pretty bad. And then they're saying they might bomb Iran too, the nuclear sites in Iran. And there is precedent. They did bomb Iraq nuclear reactor. So they've done it before. So they're not going to worry about. They were condemned at the time. So I don't think they're worried about it at all. So that should be something to keep our eye on. Because, and then we have to listen. It happens in Toronto, Montreal, the protests, which are funny. People make a big deal over the Palestinian protests in Toronto and Montreal. Like, that's just a policing issue. Police don't do their job. It's not a big deal. It only happens in a few blocks of Toronto and Montreal. Anyway, so lots of stuff going on throughout the world. What day is it today? It's Tuesday, so it's kind of boring. So let's just go through this list here. Very bored. But I'm fine. Alright. Just gonna try and enjoy the summer. That's all we should do. Alright. So, like I said, I've seen a lot more posts about vax and COVID, jabs. So, Yeah. And everybody seems to be dying at Scott Adams thing too. But I don't know if it is. But aggressive cancers, horrible. So yeah, I'm happy I didn't get the COVID shot, but I'm saddened that many were forced to in order to keep their livelihoods or visit a dying family member. Yeah, that flight ban was gay. It was garbage. The reason I didn't get vaccinated is because my gut instinct screamed at me not to take it. I don't know why. It just did. I don't know why. It just did. I was like, the more they ratcheted up the pressure, the more my resistance to the shot built. And once the vax pass and the boosters came in, I knew my initial instincts were correct. I was also lucky. Like I said, I was self-employed, and I didn't have an emergency to travel to, which made the pressure to take the vax much more manageable. I didn't have many friends, so I didn't have to worry about getting invited out to a restaurant. So that worked out good too. All right. Next post. So I didn't know Politico had a Canadian edition or whatever. So Liberal MPs are seeking powers that could boot Mark Carney from office should he ever lose their confidence. Ahead of Sunday's caucus meeting, MPs are quietly debating adopting the Reform Act. Many are pushing for a secret ballot. So that's kind of cool. Cool. They have this in the UK because I know they kick out prime ministers like it's a change in their underwear there. I don't know if Carney will go for this, but you never know. He's. I thought you could do it, but apparently you couldn't. And Trudeau, that's why he took so long to leave, because they had to basically go out in public and call him out and shamed him into leaving. But if they would have had this mechanism, they could have mutinied him out of there months and months ago. But anyway. Let's read this. It's a good little rundown of. So it's talking about Politico. It's talking about Carney's high-level meetings in Italy with allies and G7 partners. Discuss how global trading system is being restructured through tariffs. So lots of big changes coming. Who knows? So the key on this trip is he went overseas and he met with all these leaders, and he didn't act like a total dummy like Trudeau. And that's all really many Canadian boomers, especially boomers, but many Canadians, that's all they want right now from somebody, is like to go and represent Canada and not embarrass us. And he's talking about the budget. Carney promised Canadians will see an ambitious, prudent budget in the fall. Ambitious and prudent. We'll see. That should be interesting. There's a NATO summit in June. We'll have budgetary implications for Canada. All right. All right. So the Reform Act. Many are pushing for a secret ballot to keep the Prime Minister's office and cabinet from swaying votes, especially among rookie MPs. If the act is adopted, the Liberal caucus will hold powers that include removing the party leader, ejecting a caucus chair, or turfing an MP from caucus. Adopting it could be a powerful symbolic gesture by the current Prime Minister, demonstrating confidence in his ability to maintain caucus support. All right. So that's what they're doing. And Mark Carney is convening a cabinet planning forum at Meech Lake in Gatineau Park. Liberals cabinet retreat begins today with the PMO calling a cabinet planning forum to discuss economy, trade, cost of living, and crime. It's closed to the media. National Caucus retreat is currently planned for Sunday in Ottawa. So yeah, this weekend I guess they're gonna come and save us. All right. So that's the Reform Act. Liberal Party caucus considering adopting the Reform Act, which would allow MPs to vote to remove Mark Carney from his leadership position if and when they deem such an act to be necessary. Yeah, we'll see if he takes it or not. This is Israel. This is what I was talking about with the Israel thing. It's becoming more pronounced, the criticism of them. And I was always critical of them. Like, every time they bomb Gaza every 5 years, I get really anti-Israel. But then they get a truce or ceasefire, and then I forget about it. I don't even think about it. And then they start bombing again 5 years. Then I like, oh, I'm anti-Israel again. But this time it's legit like anti-Israel. Like even the opposition party leader saying Israel's killing babies as a hobby in Gaza. And I've been saying they've been killing babies for decades, and they're thinking, oh, look at you support Hamas. And I was like, no. They literally have been blowing up babies for decades. And their own politicians are saying it. And they really believe that Palestinians are not human, they don't exist, there's no such thing. And when you think like that, it's easy to not worry about blowing them up, and it's really shameful when you see people on X trying to defend this, saying, oh, Hamas is using them as shield. It's like, whatever, man. So you got to wonder, are they getting paid? They must, some of them are getting paid for getting the free trip, cover your drink. So who's this guy? He's an ex-general. He says Israel's becoming a pariah state. The Prime Minister accuses him of anti-Semitic blood libel. IDF chief condemns comment casting doubt on soldiers' morality. Lapid gift to our enemies. So who's this guy? Leader of the Democrats Party, Yair Golan, heads a faction meeting. Well, he's a left-winger, of course. Killing babies as a hobby. So he's a former IDF deputy chief of staff and current head of the Democrats Party, a merger of Labour and Meretz. Israel's on the way to becoming a pariah state like South Africa was if we don't return to acting like a sane country. See, I've been saying that too. See, I'm not sure if this guy is who this guy is, but he's got a military record, and he's probably seen some crazy shit. So yeah, it's bad when their own politicians are saying stuff like that. That's pretty crazy, nasty stuff. And guys like Theo Von, who's got millions of followers, are literally calling it a genocide. Whether it's a genocide or not, whether you want to argue that point, that's the point. Is they're very become a pariah. And in the past, they've been criticized, but it always stopped at a certain point. Just critical of, but very mild. This is different. It feels different this time. This is another thing right next to it. This is crazy. Is what Mark Rubio said about Syria. And everybody thinks Syria is oh, Assad's gone. Oh, it's gonna be freedom. No, it's gonna be like Libya. It's gonna be nuts. Because you got Israel there vying for more territory. They have the Golan Heights and from Syria, and they're not giving that back. No way. And they're going to want to take a little more. You got Turkey wants peace. You got the Kurds in there want to make a little country of their own. You got Iraq. Like, it's crazy. And listen what he says.
Are maybe weeks, not many months away. If you look at the history of the region,
and before you listen to this, if Canadians, just remember we took at least 40,000 Syrians as a result of this civil war, or not civil war, of this whatever the hell happened in Syria 10 years ago, where the country basically fell apart. We took 40,000 Syrians. If what he says right now happens, we're going to take another 40, no problem. And good luck with that.
Syria is unstable, the region becomes unstable. And this has certainly been true after the Arab Spring led to the Assad rebellion against Assad, and that really destabilized the entire region. And then it turned Syria, frankly, into a playground for jihadist groups, including ISIS and others, that used it to operate and to destabilize their partners. So you have this change in December. And my view, which I've discussed with many of you individually, is the bad news is that the transitional authority figures, they didn't pass their background check with the FBI. Okay? They've got a tough history and one that we understand. But on the flip side of it is, if we engage them, it may work out, it may not work out. If we did not engage them, it was guaranteed to not work out. In fact, it is our assessment that, frankly, the transitional authority, given the challenges they're facing, are maybe weeks, not many months, away from potential collapse and a full-scale civil war of epic proportions, basically the country splitting up. The good news is that there is a Syrian national identity. It is one of the places in the Middle East where Alawis and Druze and Christians and Sunni and Shia have lived along, and Kurds have lived alongside each other underneath the banner of a Syrian identity until it was broken by a butcher.
So yeah, they're going to blame Assad for everything. Now he's gone, but at least with him there, before they started all their shenanigans against him, the place wasn't a killing field, and we weren't getting tens of thousands of refugees. You know, before they tried getting rid of Assad under Obama, we weren't getting 40,000 refugees from Syria in Canada here. If this, what Marco Rubio just said, in Syria devolves into like breaks apart literally, there's going to be refugees from Syria. There's going to be refugees from Lebanon, and from maybe Jordan coming to Canada. So good luck with that. Great policy. We could have just left Assad there, but no. I'm not defending him, but we're going to have tons of refugees coming because of this stuff. All right, next post. Oh my gosh, I saw this today. Mummy Pig has given birth to her third child, a daughter named Evie Pig. Congratulations, Mummy Pig. No. All kidding aside, I watch this show. I know I've watched every episode. Not every episode, but I've watched a lot of Peppa Pig. So I was wondering if they were going to have another kid. And now I don't have to wonder. So now I have to see. I'm going to see my daughter's reaction when she finds out. All right, next post. Saw this video today. Look at this. Oh. That doesn't even look real. Boom. So was that an LCBO store in Ontario? But if that was a real bottle, man, he's gonna be in big pain. Poor security guard. That's unbelievable. Brampton LCBO. Brampton. It's like Brampton's like a no-go zone now. I went to Brampton once to pick up some shoes with my brother, and it was interesting. We didn't stay long, but it was interesting. It didn't feel like you're in Canada, I'll tell you that much. Another thing, home invasion, Richmond Hill. Yeah, home invasions are bad. They're bad because they're a sign that criminals don't respect the police ability to catch them or the court's ability to prosecute. This is like purge territory here. And it's like becoming normalized in Toronto. And I live in Sarnia. It hasn't happened here yet, but people shouldn't be so naive to think stuff like that couldn't happen. It's not just going to be in the GTA. It's crazy. People are going to have to fortify their house like the Purge movies if the cops don't get on top of this shit. They should just have a rule. Say, hey, any home invasion people, if you're not a citizen, get the fuck out. And if you are a citizen, you're going to jail, mother. You're going to jail, and you throw away the key and put you in with the tough boys. That's the only way to stop it. Otherwise, this shit's gonna get worse. Oh man, if they came to my house, they'd probably kill me. All right. But, and all kidding aside, if this is your house and these motherfuckers pounded in at like 2 a.m. with your kids and they destroyed your house, like, you'd have to move. It's not the material damage, it's the emotional, mental damage. It's your home. And if you are a home invader, you should be treated like, I don't know what they would have done back in the village days, in the medieval times, but pretty sure we could find something along those lines of what they did back then to, because they didn't do home invasions back then. I wonder why. And we're talking about Israel again. These Christian Zionists sound like a bunch of brainwashed zombies. Big reason why Israel first runs USA. Yeah, those. See, I'm Greek Orthodox, and I never heard Greek priests talk like this. These pastors. Two things that make me support Israel. I have a brain and I have a Bible. Yeah. Literally, these evangelical Christians are so into the Israel, like the state of Israel. Like, I don't think the Bible had the state of Israel in mind, but whatever. But a lot of these they vote. A lot of U.S. politicians need to get their vote, and they do it by they got to show their support for Israel to get these evangelicals on board. All right. There's Mark Carney's tweet. I'm meeting with members of cabinet today to set the course for the work ahead. Building a strong economy. Stronger economy. Strengthening Canada's trade partnerships, bringing down the cost of living and keeping communities safe. As we just talked about home invasions. Canadians voted for change. We're going to deliver it. We have 4 years of this nonsense. Endless meetings. And just like before, zero results will be delivered. Only excuses as to why they aren't happening. Yes, nothing's changed. It's just Trudeau's gone. That's literally it. We'll see. But like I said about pressure cooker, 4 years. I don't think Carney cares as long as he has 4 years to get the globalist agenda done. He don't care. The pressure's off right now. Next post here. This is another thing that's going on. Like, Ontario truck driving is such a... I'm afraid to drive on the highway. But like we saw over in Saskatchewan, when that dummy truck driver killed a whole busload of kids. And you'd think that'd be a wake-up call, but it isn't. And I saw a video of this guy driving with like no wheel. And it's just some Indian guy. And it's literally all these Brampton truck driving companies. They're all getting caught at the border for smuggling coke. They're crashing into people and killing people. Holy. we're not a serious country. We need these robot trucks soon. There's another post here. I'll complain about the weather. It's been 8 degrees in southern Ontario, and it's been one of the coolest Mays I can remember. Yes. Usually this is April weather. Like, April, it's like chilly. You know, winter's ending. But it's still kind of shitty. But May's been garbage. Like, you can't even sit out in the patio. So, yeah, no global warming yet. Who knows what it is. And there's a thing. The old bait and switch. Canadians have more trust in Carney than they did in Trudeau. What? It's a bait and switch. All the problems went away with Trudeau. See how that works? All right. And there's Donald Trump talking about the Golden Dome for America. Let's see what he says.
Sensors and interest in the.
Although they got the AI now, like when Reagan did the Star Wars, SDI, whatever the hell, Strategic Defense Initiative, they call it, Reagan. They call it Star Wars because his idea was to shoot Russian missiles down in the event of a nuclear war. And they laughed at him because it was like, it'll never work. But now, like, I mean, you got Elon landing rockets, boosters on arms, standing up. And you got AI and all these things. So definitely it wasn't possible. The Golden Dome sounds like a porno. Oh, God. Don't give them any ideas. So they laughed at Reagan. And, you know, the technology was probably too early. It wasn't advanced enough at that time unless we had the alien tech all along and they're lying. But now with the AI and all the crazy computers, like quantum computing and all that, they could probably do some kind of impenetrable shield. But probably against the Chinese. I don't think it's against the Russians. It's probably like for more.
I promised the American people that I would build a cutting-edge missile defense shield to protect our homeland from the threat of foreign missile attack. And that's what we're doing. Today I'm pleased to announce that we have officially selected an architecture for this state-of-the-art system that will deploy next-generation technologies across the land, sea, and space, including space-based sensors and interceptors. And Canada has called us, and they want to be a part of it.
We want to be
part. Talking to them, they want to have protection also.
Protection.
So, as usual, we help Canada do the best we can.
That's where the Arctic base will be.
Will integrate with
you need an Arctic
base
base
capabilities and should be fully operational before the end of my term. So we'll have it done in about 3 years. Once fully constructed, the Golden Dome will be capable of intercepting missiles, even if they are launched from other sides of the world, and even if they are launched from space.
So who knows? Who knows if that's
in the campaign? I promised you.
I heard the number is like $500 billion price tag. Now I don't know if that's like over 20 years. I don't know, but that's a lot. That's a lot of money. That's $500 billion. That's a lot of money. But Canada, if they're gonna do something with Canada, that'd be like in the Arctic. I would see like they'd need an interceptor up there, and you could tie that into the whole Arctic security thing. So who knows? The Golden Dome. It sounds like a porno. It's like a porno superhero. Oh, God. But yeah, we're just looking too, like Carney called them and said, hey, we want to be part of it, which is, like, smart just to get on his good side. But it's becoming glaringly obvious that Trump don't give a shit, really, who's running Canada, as long as they're not Trudeau. It's not like they were saying how Trump wanted to pick a winner, and he was he's helping the Liberals. I don't really think he cared. I think he just despised Trudeau so much that anybody, and then Pierre started acting like Trudeau fake, and he said, screw Trudeau, screw this wannabe too. But it's funny. You can see he's so much happier where he doesn't have to deal with Trudeau. It's hilarious. And that's it. Funny stuff, funny stuff. And that's a wrap for tonight. That's the funny news today. But we'll see. I'm coming back on Friday. We'll see if if Israel's started a new war, or if Mark Carney's, we get an idea of any of his new policies ahead of the throne speech. So until then, everybody have a great night. And we'll see you again. Thank you.